Hello again, and welcome to another episode of No Prize Podcast. I'm your host, the Professor Young. With me today is Lucas. How are you?
Old Alsang, raise your glasses for St. Patrick's Day. Raise the glasses. I'm raising a glass of Guinness, and I love this day because it's the one time of the year where I could drink a nice beer at 9 o'clock in the morning and nobody says shit to me.
Well, this is a very special St. Patrick's Day episode of No Prize Podcast, and we are missing Johnny the Machine Hughes because he's over in jolly old England hiding in his basement because they're really right next to Ireland. So,
Is he hiding in his basement or is he drunk somewhere in a corner of a bar somewhere? Probably.
hmm,
I think that's a real reason.
there's not enough fish nets in the world to save us from Johnny. All right, but Johnny will be back next time. But we're just gonna kind of barrel through here, and we're gonna start talking about some pretty cool comic stuff that came out this week. Some news, movie stuff. We just we had the Avengers Endgame new trailer dropped. I don't know if you saw that yet.
I have not yet. I'm
Ooh.
hearing I'm hearing all types of stuff. Um, reason why is I kind of try and stay off of trailers until the actual movie comes out because I don't want to build up any preamble of what's going on. So apparently, what's been going the Fahey brothers, whatever, said that whatever's in the trailers is only like the first 20 minutes of the movie.
Oh,
Um,
really?
yeah,
No, the new trailer it's got some cool stuff.
yeah, some cool stuff. Well,
Yeah.
so what happened in the trailer?
So the thing is called what do they call it the whatever it takes or something like that. Uh, for like the whole thing is like everybody was saying like whatever it takes and it started off with Tony Stark floating in space, trapped in his little ship, trying to get back to Earth, reading his little love letter to Pepper, but then it kind of jumped into Captain America and some other stuff with just everybody saying they're going to do whatever it takes. But they had the cool thing that I thought was the end of the trailer had them all in these spacesuits. It showed them all walking kind of like the right stuff kind of like towards the screen, and
Okay.
it had Tony, so Tony gets back to Earth eventually. So it had Tony, Cap, Ant-Man, Nebula, Thor, Hawkeye, all of them like all dressed the same, like kind of walking towards the spaceship. And I was like, oh,
Right.
like, yeah, they're gonna go kick some ass. I was like, I
Yeah.
was like,
Okay.
oh, this is gonna build up some hype. The only thing that I didn't see was Rocket. He did show up in the trailer with a big gun standing on the shoulder of War Machine, which I thought was awesome.
That's weird.
So yeah, it was pretty cool. So it kind of really made me really want to see the movie. I'm glad we only have to wait another month. Um,
Wow.
I don't,
Is it coming
yeah,
up that quick already? Man.
April 26th, so maybe 6 weeks away. So uh,
Yeah. Cause
gives enough time for us to all digest Captain Marvel. You haven't seen that yet.
yeah. So I just went to see Captain Marvel last night.
Oh, you did?
Yeah. So I
Oh,
got to and it's okay. It's got certain parts for different types of people, and it's okay. It's not making me go, okay, I definitely got to go see the Endgame movie now or anything like that. But it's okay. It does, and it definitely doesn't want me to make me want to buy more Cat Marvel comics at all.
right.
Um, but I will talk about that more once we get into the comic book reviews. Because you know how I feel about the whole Kamala Khan thing. So, but we'll get into that later on.
Well, here's a question: is there any Marvel movie that's come out in the last 10 years that have made you want to go buy a comic book?
Black Panther.
Okay,
Uh,
okay, yeah, I'm there with you.
and right, but the problem is with the Black Panther stuff is that you go to see the movie and then you go to see the comic and it's a totally different world. It's a totally different thing. They got those guys out in space and all this other stuff. Um, it did with my taste for wanting to read the Shuri comic,
Yeah,
but once again, it's still totally different flavor. Doesn't connect to the movie at all. Um, the Yeah, I think that's probably it in between. Oh, and not going off of the movies, but going off of the Jessica Jones series that made me want to pick up and figure out what was going on with Jessica Jones.
Yep,
And
that's a good shout. Yeah.
yeah, and that was pretty good. It made me want to the Iron Fist, even though the series was terrible. I did want to see what was going on with Iron Fist, and that was a mistake. Um, and see, Luke Cage. Luke Cage is pretty much tied into Jessica Jones, and even though I love the Runaways show, I still haven't picked up the Runaways comic to like with a vigor. Like, oh man, I got to see what's going on. I haven't done that. But it's a mixed bag in between what the Marvel Universe is putting out and their cinematic thing, and what's going on in between the comics.
Yeah.
Um, they are definitely hits and misses. I just wish there was more of a consistency. Like, hey, okay, you've given this type of story to this writer, go ahead, but give me another comic that kind of gives me more details into what's going on with the movie, and I think that that would be great. But they still haven't. They've tried to with these little prequels and everything, but there's still an element missing, and I wish they would kind of figure it out.
Yeah, well, that's what I think. I think eventually the comics are going to be way more of a reflection on what's going on in the movies than anything else. And then I think DC's guilty more of this than Marvel. I think, but like say you're watching the Superman movie, and then all of a sudden Superman starts looking like Christopher Reeve in the comic book or something like
Yeah,
that.
yeah, 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 yeah.
you know,
Right.
or you watch an Arrow, and then all of a sudden they're introducing Diggle and everything like that into the comic book and in or Felicity Smoke, and you're like, oh, okay, all right. So it's going to be more of like that. But DC's done that for years. I mean, Jimmy Olsen first appeared in the radio show and so did
Okay.
Kryptonite, all that stuff. So that to me, I thought that's pretty cool when they do stuff like that across media. But with the Marvel Cinematic Universe, it is really kind of jumping. Uh, the kind of like the like Tony Stark, who's kind of always a douchebag, was never really that funny.
Right.
He was just a
Yeah,
douche.
yeah.
But now he's kind of taken on Robert Downey Jr.'s personality in the movies. Um,
Absolutely. Which
and
is
every
great. Which
yeah,
is great. You know.
that's one of the things that I think is a detriment to the comic book now is that every character or every book kind of has that kind of slapstick feel, like they have to have that moment of levity or those jokes or uh, the sarcastic humor. Like
Right.
not everybody can be Deadpool, not everybody can be Spider-Man,
Right.
and it seems like it's kind of like a one voice almost now.
Right. Yeah, the only thing I didn't like about the Marvel universe when it first started out was it had this gravity of everything was for all the marbles, right? It was for
Right.
everything was for hey, either if you guys lose, the whole universe is going to blow up, or the whole United States of America is going to blow up. I didn't like that. I would rather my heroes start out little, start out a little bit more tactical, and then build themselves up. But
Yeah,
I,
they're all cosmic powered threats now.
yeah, exactly. I just
Omega
wasn't feeling
level.
it. Yeah,
Omega level mutants. When Iceman's an Omega level mutant, we have troubles.
exactly. Well, yeah, we're not even going to. Do we want to go into that today, or not?
Maybe. Wait, we could go wherever you want to go, Lucas. we could do the free form no prize podcast today. Uh, so tell me now. We were just talking about before we went on the air, Silver Surfer Black that they just announced. So
Right.
tell me a little bit about that because this
Yeah.
is news to me.
Right. So on Friday, March 15th, Marvel just announced that they are working on a new project with Donny Cates. For those who don't know Donny Cates, he is the creator of Cosmic Ghost Rider and all these other little heroes. In fact, Stab, for those who don't know who Stab is, that's the new Groot. So this new project is going to be called Silver Surfer Black, right? So you're going to want to pay attention for that because anytime he starts a new series, he somehow wedges a new character in there, and the characters are always awesome. It doesn't necessarily say when this new series is coming out, but I'm thinking it'll probably be like maybe July or August like that because I haven't seen any of the previews yet. But yeah, anytime Don Cates is going to be involved with the project, you definitely want to prick your ears and pay attention to what the heck is going on. Um, I don't know. Are you a fan of Donny Cates at all? Do you like his stuff?
So yes, I really really loved his Thanos run towards the end there. Um, I'm not a big fan of Cosmic Ghost Rider. And this is maybe not a shout out at Johnny Cates, but just the way Marvel is in general, where they kind of beat a dead horse, where they think the house of ideas no longer has any ideas, so they have to recycle characters, and you get Cosmic Ghost Rider. That's a what if of Frank Castle, you know, and that's
Right.
to me it's a little disappointing because I've always wanted to see new characters, not just reinventions of old ones.
Yeah, it's tough. It's tough, but what you gonna do, man? Freaking in between, because I mean, within 1 year, what did we have? We had Cosmic Ghost Rider. We had the Weapon H, I believe
Oh
is.
yeah, yep. Weapon
Um,
H.
yeah, freaking. We had Devon Dinosaur. We had the Red Goblin. We had, I mean, we just had a slew of different characters that were just spliced together, just throwing stuff up against the fridge to see what it works. And
Well, and then you
you
had
know
the
what?
Infinity War
Yeah,
crossover last
yeah,
year
with
that
right,
that that melded all those characters together, and it was just like, okay, this is what they're doing now,
right. And you know what? I don't have a problem with that as long as the story's good, but the story was terrible.
right?
Nobody loved it. Nobody says, "Hey, let's." I get what they're doing, but nobody loved any of that stuff.
Yeah.
Nobody was like, "Hey, let's see more of this character at all." So
Maybe if maybe if Cosmic Ghost Rider had a different personality, but you might as well call him Cosmic Deadpool, right?
yeah, that's what a lot of people were pissed off at because that's what
Yeah.
they thought was going on. They thought that it was Deadpool, cosmically powered or whatever, and then it turned out to be Frank Castle. So yeah, I mean, people still kind of love the character. I like the character, but people are nonplussed about what Don Cates did about that whole deal. So
Yeah. But anyway, so I mean, Donny Cates is really kind of like the next big thing for Marvel, right? I mean, his independent work is fantastic, and the thing is I think that maybe Marvel has kind of limited the amount of sandbox that you can play with. You know,
right, right,
I,
and I mean, they kind of should, but and I get why they're doing it because sometimes the writers they're on a budget of time, and you don't want them just building stuff and then it kind of messes up the whole continuity of the whole Marvel universe. But when you have certain characters and they're all in on the West Coast in San Francisco, and you have 30 different freaking Marvel characters and they're all in New York and Hell's Kitchen, nonetheless. I mean, we've got 49 other freaking states, guys. I mean, 48 other states. You can freaking go and build up those other guys. Like I know they did that whole what was that whole I can't
like the Avengers Academy or Avengers Initiative or something like that, like
yeah, it was
years
like
ago. Yeah,
yeah, it was like 50 states Avengers or something like that.
US Avengers. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, freaking I missed out on that whole thing because it was just too many books for me. But once a month, just pull one of those out. Freaking go have at it, man. Hey, and freaking North Dakota. Hey, this was what's happening up here. You don't have to freaking put those out all the time, but that's where I would rather them see them develop some new characters.
Right.
And they don't all have to be Omega level freaking mutants or Omega mutant level freaking Inhumans. Just pull it out every once in a while, and let's see what goes. Instead of these alternate universes, like in what's the name of the book we're going to do today? Marvel's
I Age of X-Men,
yeah, Age of
Marvelous
X-Men.
X-Men. Yeah.
Right, because I can't trust Marvel that once they get back to the new universe, that these new characters that they're bringing out are still going to be there. So
Yeah.
that's my issue. So we'll see. We'll see.
Well, yeah, I don't know. I don't know. It seems to be like an ongoing complaint, and it's tough for me sometimes as a huge Marvel fan to remain positive about stuff because it seems like like the old guy in me wants to just bitch about stuff all the time.
well,
You know,
well, for your $5, that's what you deserve to do, man. Freaking go ahead it.
no, yeah, no, it's. I guess yeah, I guess it's true because I mean the stories that I love didn't cost me nearly $5. So
Right,
I
right.
don't know. Now it's like I'm paying my money to be pissed off. But oh, and then we were going to talk. So I know that we can do this when we start getting into the reviews. But just you were talking about like the recycling of heroes and everything. But how about the recycling of villains? Because it seems to me, and I know that this has been kind of an ongoing joke. And I say about like the Wrecking Crew appears every episode. You know,
Right.
hey, they're in
So,
3 books
right,
this week.
right. So yeah, it was Taskmaster, and what was the other guy's name? I forgot
Uh,
the other, whatever the fuck his name is. But yeah, Taskmaster again, Hulabaloo, whatever the heck his name is, showed up in like a bunch of different freaking books, and it's been like they've been like all over the place for this whole month.
Yeah. Well, so and that's it. So I'm glad you brought up Taskmaster because that was my big gripe was that he is featuring prominently right now in the Craven Hunted storyline as one of the flunkies that is working for Craven to abduct all these different villains,
Right. Yeah.
along with the Black Ant, right? And then he shows up over in Punisher as the guy that's kind of like the warden of the Bagalia prison where the Punisher is imprisoned, and that and to me I was like, well, he's doing double duty here, right? I mean, it drives me nuts, especially it's not like a cameo appearance, and I'll get into a cameo appearance in a second, but yeah, Taskmaster features heavily in the Punisher this week, but also he is also in Amazing Spider-Man at the
Yes.
same time, and
Right. Right. Right.
it drives me nuts. And I think I said last episode about the Lizard, who's also being featured prominently in Amazing Spider-Man right now as living under the sewers of New York City, and he's actually kind of a good guy. He's like Kurt Connor's in charge, but he's definitely in Captain America with Captain America in prison. He's shown as a prisoner in the
Yep.
jail.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
So I don't know what that's all about. And,
I'm shouting out to the editors. I'm shouting it out.
like I don't. Yeah. I don't know whether somebody's got a warehouse full of the first appearance of Taskmaster somewhere, and they're trying to freaking sell it off or what have you. But yeah, that is kind of strange because I mean they've got a really. I mean Marvel. I bet you complain about the way Marvel does things, but they've got really good villains. Just use them, man.
Yeah,
Or I have no problem with killing the villains off, and all of a sudden their son or brother pops up in the same costume. I have no just just talk. The writers should just talk to each other. Like, hey, which villain are you using? Well, I'm using Taskmaster. Ah, shit. Well, I can't use him.
yeah,
Let me go
right.
ahead and use it, some other guy. I have no issue with it. That would be great. It would make a lot more sense than what the heck is going
Right.
on now.
Oh,
So
you're using Taskmaster. I guess I'll use Batroc the Leaper.
yeah,
Yeah.
They're- I
Nobody's
mean,
using Batroc. Nobody's using Batroc. Don't even
right.
ask.
Yeah, I mean, and they can make up as many villains as they want to.
Right. But
Right? I mean, and because I was just talking about this earlier. Freaking between Crawl. Crawl was another villain that Donny Cates built up. Cosmic Ghost Rider, he's technically a villain. Baby Thanos, that was another villain. So just freaking build up all these freaking villains. Go ahead, knock yourself out. Build up a whole freaking gallery of new villains. Two
right.
villains 2019, and then just go ahead and mow them down, kill them off, and then go ahead and start over again in 2020.
And
Just
the great ones that they have are so like overused. I mean, you see Loki every month. You
yeah,
see Doctor Doom every month. You see Apocalypse is like every month now in the X-Men. And but you have so many great villains, but all these sub characters that they're reusing and the editors are not talking to each other obviously, you know.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
But why not use some of the forgotten villains? But and then I'm thinking, well, Marvel is putting like 90 something books out a month. Maybe they are using them all.
Yeah, man. So I'm looking at the first appearance of Taskmaster.
Avengers
Uh,
181,
no,
191,
Avengers 195.
195.
195, and it's not really doing anything. It's like it's a $10 book.
It's a George Perez book too.
I might have to put that in my shopping cart.
It's a great book. He's been
Yeah,
my he's been my favorite Marvel villain for decades now, and they never really used him, and now they're overusing the shit out of him. But
yeah. Shit, there's a very fine one on eBay right now for $30. Oh yeah, that's going in the shopping cart. All right.
it's a good story too. That's a good Hawkeye story. Um,
Yeah. Huh. Okay.
so you saw? Did we talk about Captain Marvel? How did you like it? Before we jump in.
Yeah, it's like I said, it was okay. It was they were trying to build up the drama up till the big reveal, and that took a long while. Like I will warn you, and I'm not the only one, is that I almost fell asleep for the first half of the movie. I had to get up and walk around, go out the hallway, walk around a little bit. Freaking, I ordered another Coke, um, just to keep myself awake. Um, and my friends were telling me the same thing. They're like, "Man, they almost fell asleep a couple times." So, but once they get into the action was okay. You know,
Yeah.
um, sometimes some of these cinema movies, when it comes to the fight scenes, there's like that darkness to it where you can't tell what's really going on.
Right.
I didn't like that. Like, oh man, I could swear there's a great fight scene happening, but I can't see what's going on. So that was one issue I had, and then they try to make people have been talking about the chemistry in between Brie Larson and Sam Jackson.
Yeah.
Sam Jackson, he could have chemistry with a piece of wood, man. Freaking, he's the greatest freaking actor of all time. So trying to talk about chemistry between him and Brie Larson, that ain't a thing. I mean, he did most of the talking when it was in between those two. So Sam Jackson was great. Brie Larson was she's okay because she didn't have any chemistry or any good acting skills with anybody else. And I'll leave that at that. Um,
So here's a question because I try not to read into these movies too much, but did you come out with any kind of maybe like political message that maybe they were trying to kind of convey between the Kree and the Skrulls and maybe kind of comparing that to stuff happening here in America right now?
Zero, zero at all.
Okay. Okay.
If you wanted to compare it to something, you might want to compare it to what's happening in Israel and Palestine right now with refugees or some of the Syrian refugees that have been scattered all over the place. And that's what you want to compare it to. But it was very weakly. Can you make that comparison?
Hmm.
Um, I don't think they were going for. They wanted to go for that big type of message. They failed. But it was nice to see there was a more detail of the motivations behind the Kree. Behind the Skrulls. I like that. It makes them more interesting. Just like they made Killmonger interesting and his
Right.
motivations kind of interesting.
That's that's exactly that. I was going to compare the villains in this movie to Killmonger because I think Killmonger was the greatest, like most realized villain that Marvel has put on screen. Uh,
Right, right,
like
right.
as far as where like you almost agreed with them.
Yeah,
you know,
yep, yep.
it's the bad guy, but
Exactly.
he's not really the bad guy.
Right. I mean, and their infiltration of the United States and basically Earth, I mean, that's still bad stuff, right? But now you kind of understand why they did it. So going forward, It's going to be interesting on how they play it off. So I'm going to have to go back because what was it? It was last week. There was the Meet the Scrolls.
Oh,
book that came
right.
out, right? So I'm gonna go back and read that with a better understanding of, yeah, they're doing all this bad stuff, but there was some reason why they did it, why they were doing it behind it. So, you know, so I know we were talking about, movies that make you want to read the book. Okay, yep, this movie makes me want to read the Meet the Scrolls book over again, see what's going on. So,
But it doesn't want to make you read Captain Marvel.
absolutely not at all,
Hmm.
not at all,
Okay.
not at all. I mean, to me, I've read Captain Marvel every single week, and I'm just like, okay, whatever, next book. You know, it's not that the movie was bad at all. It's that I've already been reading Captain Marvel, and there's nothing that makes me go, oh man, I need to read Captain Marvel to see what's going on with Carol Danvers or the Marvel Universe at all. So,
Right.
and that's a more of a telling thing on the writers than anything else. Maybe they need to get Donny Cates on Captain Marvel. Maybe that would fix it up. I don't know.
Well, they're doing this thing where they have the greatest women writers in comics right now, kind of rotating on Captain Marvel, right?
Yeah,
Oh,
jeez.
I don't know. I just I kind of like that a little bit, and I really thought they kind of heavily used Kelly Sue DeConnick's kind of stuff in the movie. She was front and center on the thanks to Kelly Sue DeConnick. She created Goose, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And for whatever people were saying that Goose stole the show. Yep, Goose definitely stole the show. So hopefully he'll show up in Endgame. That would be awesome.
Oh yeah, because he won't age like normal cats, right? Because he's a Flarkin.
Yeah.
Oh, spoiler. Sorry.
Well, that's not a spoiler. I mean, because Goose he is in the Marvel Comics universe, right?
Yeah, yeah. Goose was in the Captain Marvel comic, and he was revealed as a Flarkin at some point. That was not a surprise to me to see all the tentacles and everything,
Yeah.
because they used that in the comic. So
Yeah, I mean, because I wasn't familiar with Goose the cat. Like, I know people were already saying, "Well, no, he's not a cat; he's a natural furkin." I was like, "Okay, I don't know what that means," but
so
but
you were
yeah,
surprised like everybody else.
yeah, and it was awesome, absolutely awesome. If there was no other reason to go see this movie other than to see Goose the cat do his thing, that was it, man. So his first appearance was in Giant Size Miss Marvel #1 back in 2006.
Yeah. So that's over 10 years ago now.
Yeah. So I could definitely see. Well, see, they haven't. I mean, they've already been putting out toys and stuff for Captain Marvel, haven't they?
Yep.
So I haven't seen any plush toys or anything for Goose. So I'm
The
looking.
so the Captain Marvel Legends action figure, one of them comes with a little goose toy.
Does it?
Yeah,
Okay.
like a little plastic goose. Yeah. So it is what it is, right? So he's not
Right.
not not posable. He's just a little piece of plastic.
Yeah.
All right. So are we ready to jump into some reviews here? What do you think?
Sure. Let's go. Let's go ahead.
All right. So let's see. Let's do Age of X-Men, Marvelous X-Men #2.
Okay. All right.
Um, so this was actually Johnny wanted us to review this. So
All right. Okay. So I'll take it.
okay,
So
good.
written by Zach Thompson and art by Marco Faya. So basically starts out with Apocalypse of all people. He's dressed up in an old 70s hippie regalia, and he's delivering this love speech about love and romance and feel your feelings and all this other hippie bullshit, right?
Hmm.
And then there's about 40 mutants listening to him, and they're like, yeah, 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 yeah. And then he grabs his son, Genesis, he pulls him to him, and he kisses him on the head, which apparently in this universe is against the law. And in the background, you've got the X-Men, and they're listening in, and they're listening. They're like, "Oh my God, we gotta arrest this guy because That's against the law. You can't be rousing the people to do whatever they want, whatever the hell they want. And it was like, okay, that's kind of weird. Um, but it is what it is. This whole age apocalypse and lovey-dovey freaking hippie thing is kind of weird because we know how he is as a villain. What kind of threw me off is that later on, when some of the X-Men are sitting in their offices and they're kind of reflecting about what happened, is that they, oh, because here's another thing. So apparently there's these statues of the X-Men all over the place, right? Like I'm talking about like Wolverine and some of the ones that you just don't see in the universe.
Right.
And but they're held up as examples of isolation. That means that these guys loved isolation, then therefore you should use that as an example. So the mutants that are getting pissed off, like, hey, yeah, isolation is bad. We should be able to love who we want. And one of the X Men, one of the mutants, like, runs up the little freaking statue and tries to break it, falls down or whatever. And then X-23 is there. She runs up and just stabs the little girl, stabs the girl, poor girl.
Hmm.
It was like, okay, that was kind of weird. You just because she broke off a piece of statue, you're just going to go ahead and stab her with your claws. Okay, whatever. And then the girl goes, "Hey, that's fucked up. You just can't stab me for that," and then punches X-23 in the face, which is another weird thing because you just can't get the drop on X-23. I'm sorry. Um, but what was a little weird is because they're trying to make comparisons of this to the real world. I got it. But then at some point back in their offices, they call this breaking the statue off and punching. No, it Nature Girl? No, it was Nature Girl that they punched. Uh,
Right.
they called it an act of civil disobedience. And I'm sorry, but civil disobedience is marching without a permit, or sitting in a restaurant when you're not supposed to because of your color or race, or drinking at a water fountain in front of the police when you're not supposed to. Um, that's civil disobedience. This civil disobedience is not breaking shit, freaking and rioting and all this other stuff. So they got that freaking wrong. Um, but one of the things that was kind of interesting is that Nature Girl brought up, like, okay, we're not supposed to be talking to people in a romantic way or talking to each other like friends, but she says, I see birds and animals do it all the time. And not only do they love each other, but they fight each other as well. So are they wrong for doing all that stuff? And the X Men can't come up to an agreement on whether that's wrong or right, even though they're animals. Um, what did you think about it, man?
You know, this book for me it was kind of, I guess, all over the board. I don't like these books anyway because of the way the entire Marvel universe has pretty much become a giant what if. So these creating new realities and having different versions of these characters acting in the ways that they don't normally act is just what I mean. In a few months, it's going to be something different. So it's tough to get into the books. It's tough to kind of really accept the characterization for what it is. Watching Colossus with one arm is kind of disconcerting a little bit
Yeah, yeah,
because
absolutely.
you know, uh, and then having like X-23 kind of have this flashback to being Laura, the Marvel Universe Laura, and then kind of flashing back to a different version. Same thing with Colossus later on in the book, where he's painting a picture of Lockheed and can't remember Kitty Pryde. Uh, I'm like, all right, I'm not really into this book. There's not really a whole lot of action that happens in here. It seems like it's a bunch of different character development moments, and I'm like, why are you doing character development moments in a book that's going to be only 4 issues?
Right, right.
Show me story. I don't need to know the motivations of these characters that are not going to exist in 3 months.
Yeah, exactly.
So
We should already be. I think by now we should already be working our way back to the normal universe. Like I get it, I get the laws and everything. Let's let's start working our way back to the universe to finding out our way back. That's the way I feel about it.
Yeah, the bad thing is that I mean there's like 7 different limited series all tying into all this stuff, and so they have to go at a specific kind of a pace. But the beginning of this book where they had Apocalypse, hip like you said, hippy dippy Apocalypse. Uh, we just read also this week was the first issue of Apocalypse in the Extract. So it's like you're kind of
Right.
getting a
Yep.
double dose of Apocalypse in this week,
Yep.
and it's very tough for me to care either way of what's going on. Everything is in X-Man's head. Nate's head. So it's kind of really like Age of Apocalypse, but with X-Man as the villain instead of Legion. And I just can't.
Right.
I can't get into it. I just want it to be over. I'm just, what I think that I was bitching before about having this story concurrently running with the new Uncanny X-Men book that's kind of in the actual universe. I thought that they were going to kind of just ignore this entire thing and publish X-Men.
Right. Yep.
Um, but that seems to be happening at the same time with none of the characters that are in this limited series. So, at least that there's one saving grace for that, and that book's actually pretty good. This one
It
is
actually was.
this one's not. I can live without this book. I don't want to say it's a clobber for me, but it's definitely an Invisible Woman.
It for me, it is a clobber. Absolutely, it was freaking ridiculous. It wasn't needed. Like, I don't understand it because the other thing was like you brought up the other book, the Age of the Extracts, I think it was called.
Apocalypse and the Extracts. Yeah.
Yeah, Apocalypse and the Extracts. Okay, that one was whatever, wasn't really needed. Um, However, that was the introduction of a new character called Unveil. I'm not sure what her powers are. I'm not sure what she is or what she does.
Oh,
Um,
she has Dark Force powers.
okay.
Unveil is actually she was formally introduced as Shade. She's Marvel's first transgender mutant character.
So she's not African American.
Well,
Oh, oh,
I know she might be African
yeah,
American.
no,
She's not.
yeah, she's not. Okay, so excuse me, she's not female. Okay,
Right.
okay, okay.
So they don't, and they don't really kind of tell you in the comic. So you can read if you read the last page and in the letters page, they kind of go through her first appearance and her origin and all that stuff. So it's worth that one's worth a read. And if you're well, in fact, Lucas, you like first appearances and stuff like that. So
Shade is Iceman number number 4.
there you go.
So so now I got to get pissed off and because there are a lot of people because that's $100. So there is a I forget what variant it is, but there's a 1 to 50 variant of that Age of Extracts book, and people are buying it at $100 a pop for that book. And
Really?
that's not yeah, and that's not even a and you're telling me that's not even the first appearance of this character?
Well, it's the first. I think it's the first
It's the first time
appearance
she's
as
is
Unveil.
right. But that character is actually Shade, which makes a lot more sense now. So, huh? Well, I'm glad I missed out on some auction on that book. Thank goodness. All right.
Well, there you go. So maybe they do one thing that maybe worth picking up one of these books, right?
Yep. So,
All right.
yeah, Marvel's X-Men number 2 had 2 covers. One was a Phil Noto cover, which was garbage, and then there was a 1 to 25 by Humberto Ramos, which was also garbage. Nobody wants that book.
Uh, all
So,
right.
so it was a clapper for me.
Coming to a dollar bin near you.
Yep, absolutely. Save your
All
money.
right. All right. So let's move away from the X universe for just a moment, and we'll touch on. Let's do Avengers: No Road Home number 5. This is a
Okay.
weekly book, right? I mean,
Yep.
so we reviewed issue 1 and now here it is. It's issue 5 already, and it's only been a few weeks. So, um, so you can have that. This was your pick
Okay.
for the week.
Yep. So Avengers No Road Home #5, written by Jim Sub. I got that wrong. Uh, art by Al Ewing. Um,
Oh, art by Sean Izaakse. Al Ewing is actually
oh,
one of the writers with Mark Waid. It's like a three.
okay, okay,
It's
okay.
a
Yeah, yeah.
three-way writing effort.
Right. Okay, yeah. Jim Sub, Mark Weed, and Al Ewing wrote the book. Art was by Sean Izaki. Gotcha. Okay. Um, in this book, we've got Hercules, Voyager, Scarlet Witch, Vision, and then over at the Nightmare Realm, you got the Hulk and Rocket Raccoon, and everybody's kind of ganging up on NYX and her son Hypnos. Now, in the first act, NYX or Nyx has the replacement Avengers, restrained through one means or another, to include a Scarlet Witch, who's supposed to be one of the most powerful. She somehow took her eyes out. I don't remember when that happened. Must have happened in the last issue or something like that.
Issue 1.
Issue 1? Okay.
Yeah.
Um, so she's finally got 2 of the obsidian shards that she's been looking for. Now she just needs the last of the shard from Hypnos, who's kind of battling up against Hulk and Rocket Raccoon over at the Nightmare Realm. In the second act, they take us over to the Nightmare Castle, where, and I hate this trope, but it's, I guess when you run out of stories, you got to do this. It's good guy against good guy, and by that I mean you've got Hawkeye fighting against Kate Bishop, right? But Kate Bishop, she's she's sleeping, so she doesn't know what the heck she's doing, which is kind of a cop out. Um, in the meantime, we go back to NYX and Spectrum, who I really wanted to go into, um, goes inside of Wanda, the Scarlet Witch, in order to see what Wanda is trying to do, so she can come up with the magic that'll help them out. Now, the reason why I really wanted to do this book is because Spectrum, her real name is Monica Rambeau, and Monica Rambeau is the little girl that you see in Captain Marvel. So her mother was Maria Rambeau, the pilot, the black pilot, Captain Marvel's friends. So it looks like they are trying to do something with this character. I haven't really read much of anything else about this character other than her being in this one. So I thought that was pretty interesting that they try to make sure that she was going to be in this issue for right around when Captain Marvel came out. Now, in the third act, which is probably the most interesting, Hulk gets a hold of Hypnos, which is Nick's son, and he gets this sick little serial killer grin on his face, and he basically snaps his freaking neck, right? Kills the guy dead. Back where NYX is, she gets tired of all the hustle and bus, and she kills Hercules and Vision. So you got 2 superhero deaths in here. And in the final act, you got Voyager, who sends Wanda away to a new universe to hide the last shard that or the last 2 shards that she's got. And that's where she meets up with Conan. And that's how Conan is apparently supposed to kind of come into this whole Avengers storyline or whatever. So for me, it was okay. It was I guess, I mean, I'll still flame it on. You know, I liked what was happening in the book. I know a lot of people are kind of pissed off at this whole trying to get Conan into the Marvel Universe thing, but you know, it was flame on. It was a good read for me. What did you think, man?
So count me among the people that actually like the second string Avengers more than the originals. I really love Vision, Scarlet Witch, Hawkeye, Hercules. I really, really enjoy when those characters get a little time to shine. This is so we complained earlier about having using new villains. Nyx is a new villain as far as I know. I haven't seen her before, and the characters that she's her children that she surrounds herself with. I really I am not aware of the motivations. I really kind of don't know where the story's going. I love the addition of Nightmare, who's typically a villain, but they've kind of been using as he's part of like a trapped in Nyx's little realm too,
Right, right.
which is pretty cool. I love the addition of Rocket Raccoon to the team. Um, the action is fast and furious in this issue, which is cool. I did have one problem with the book, which is basically a new use of Monica Rambeau Spectrum's powers that really kind of didn't really feel like that they should really kind of work that way, where where she forms into neural electricity to enter Wanda's mind and see her thoughts.
Yeah,
That seemed to me to be really kind of a bit of a stretch as the use of her powers goes. But other than that, I love the fact that it seems like these best stories are when like it looks like the heroes are going to lose, right? So you have Hercules in Vision being crumpled to dust, of course, in the same month that Endgame is coming out, right? So
right, right, right. Yeah, 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 yeah.
you know, they'll see that, and then to have Wanda wake up and have Conan standing over her, I was like, okay. And out of all the characters that I would want to have run into Conan, it's Scarlet Witch, right? Because
Yeah.
she would totally fit in Conan's world,
Yep, absolutely. Yep. That's
you know?
that's a good point. That's a good
Yeah.
point.
And I'm just like, all right, so let's go. Let's see what the rest of this storyline has, man. Because I know it's going to end up with Conan coming back and joining the Savage Avengers, but I kind of really want to see where that is kind of coming from. And
Right.
they're doing stuff in this book that I kind of feel like they think that this book's probably not going to sell that well. So
Yeah.
just go ahead, do
Well,
what you want. You know?
right. So NYX, she's not a new character. But like you said, she's not really that used that much. Her first appearance was in Doctor Strange, Sorcerer Supreme number 31. That came back out in 1991.
That was
However,
probably her last appearance.
probably, maybe. However, let's see. I'm looking at her kids. Yeah, it looks like kids, like Phobos and Deimos. Yeah, they were already there. So it looks like maybe the newest character might be Hypnos. Nightmare. I still got to research on what's going on with that one. I don't think he's. I'm not sure if he's a new character, but here's what one of the things
Oh, who? Nightmare?
yeah.
Nightmare's not a new character. He's been around
Okay.
forever.
Yeah, I know that because and here's what I did. Here's what I really did like about this Avengers No Road Home is that they've actually been building it up for the last 5 weeks before Avengers No Road Home came up. They've been building it up in Moon Girl because Nightmare and all this whole Nightmare thing was happening in Moon Girl way before Avengers No Road Home came out.
Right, right, right.
So I like that. I like how they all of a sudden he pops up and he's the last piece is his little realm. I freaking love that. But no, like you said, it does have some issues, but otherwise I really liked it.
Me too. I'm flaming this on big. Like I said, all the characters that are in this book have time to shine. There's nobody that's underused. It's and sometimes when you get sometimes you get those Avengers books and you have one character that's kind of just in the background shots, but every character has some time to shine, and I really want to. I'm really super interested in seeing how this is going to work out.
Right.
Um,
Yep.
and that doesn't happen a lot, man. It's not a
Well,
lot of
well,
time that they can
well
surprise me.
here's what I did have an issue with though. I think so. For instance, the whole battle over at Nightmare Realm, I wish they would have took one issue to just do just the battle over there because they just showed up at the Nightmare Realm last issue, and then all of a sudden the battles are over already. I think they probably should have just did one issue just on Nightmare Realm, and then that would have made me happy because that's what a big buildup was. Build up to the last shard, and that was it.
Yeah.
So, but that's just me.
Nope. The the books that flame on regardless. So that's good. It's not normal that we all like one thing. So
Okay, so
um,
next one was Soldier #4. What you thinking of that one?
yeah. So let's see. Winter Soldier #4. We have writer Kyle Higgins, artist is Rod Reese, um, and this book is it's kind of playing off as a limited series. I can't remember if it was just solicited as a 5 issue, but it seems like this arc is going to come to a head, and then I don't know where they're going to go. But Bucky has taken on a kid RJ under his wing and is training him to be, I guess, the next Bucky. Yeah, and so this storyline is very much about the kid, and Winter Soldier is pretty much playing like a background kind of protector role in this issue. And this issue, and the reason I wanted to review this was because I thought it was very well done as far as creating a relationship between RJ and his absentee father, who showed up at the end of the last issue. But
Yeah,
this issue, the very first page, they the DNA test was run, and it really is his dad. So, but then they kind of go into this healing kind of redemption kind of thing for his dad, where he's like apologizing for being gone when he was in jail, and how do you come back into your now teenage child's life and try to repair those relationships. So, and it's all like nearly impossible to do. But the way that they did it was kind of really emotional, where you see RJ desperately kind of wants a relationship with his dad and wants to do whatever he can to kind of make it, but he just doesn't trust him. And
yeah,
then the dad, it really kind of plays the role, right? The
yeah,
dad is like, look, I'm really sorry, but this is the time I'm here for family. I'm here for you. I want to get to know you. I want to be the best guy I can for you. And then of course they come out of the restaurant and he runs immediately into the loan sharks or whatever they are,
yeah,
the bad guys, right?
yeah, yeah,
And RJ slips into his training role and then kind of takes out a couple of these guys before the dad pulls him off, and then you have Winter Soldier show up, who's been kind of in the wings watching everything happen, and then that kind of creates a kind of a rift where you have Winter Soldier, who's now kind of like a father figure to RJ, and then his real father. And
yeah,
so this starts kind of like an emotional tug of war between the two, and this book didn't really go well. It did end up going where I expected it to go, but it kind of took a circuitous route where Winter Soldier really spent a lot of time saying, okay, well, I'm going to give this guy every single chance in the book to create a relationship with his son. And it eventually throughout the book it does kind of return to form. uh it turns out the guy's kind of really a bad guy,
yeah,
and really kind of is trying to just pull RJ into a life of crime. And that's towards the end of the book is where where Bucky is pretty much saying, okay, this is it, you're done, get out of here. I don't want you to have any relationship with your son anymore. And then it turns into a fight and this actually was a surprise, was that was the fight ends up where RJ's dad accidentally is killed in the fight,
yep,
uh, which was shocking to me, which makes me, as emotional as I felt like this issue was, how is RJ going to react next issue when he finds out that his dad was killed in a fight
yeah,
with Winter Soldier, and that it's gonna be like it's your fault.
yeah,
So to me, and I don't want to say that this movie that this book kind of had any kind of connotation with anything that was reflective in my life at all, but it really kind of hit me in the emotions quite a bit, which is why I kind of changed my mind and wanted to review this one, because I was like, this book really kind of hit me in the feels, and it isn't. I don't usually read a book that does that.
yep,
And the art, Rod Reese's art was very. it just melded well with the story. It was kind of dark. The kind of watercolor paint inks that they used were kind of really contrasting to the story.
Absolutely. Yep.
And
Yep.
I enjoyed the hell out of this book. And the first couple of issues, maybe I was neither here nor there on this book, but this issue really kind of stepped it up, and I kind of feel like this is probably the best book I read all week, and I'm interested in seeing how you think about it, Lucas, because I loved this book.
Dude, I mean, Kyle Higgins put on a clinic. He put on an absolute writing clinic when it came to this whole deal, man. Absolutely, every single point that you had, you basically took all the points, man. Thanks a lot. Um,
No problem.
what can you say, man? Like, usually I like them to type of spread this type of storyline out, but with putting it all in one book so I don't forget about it the next week, it was actually pretty good, man. And you know how we usually talk about, hey, we've actually talked about in this podcast, hey, make the villains a little bit more interesting.
Yep.
Absolutely, they came out of the box swinging, telling us, hey, this is why he's a bad guy. There was a reason why he was a bad guy. His wife had cancer, whatever. She got sick. The kid, I mean, they had all these debts, so he had to do something, and that's why he got thrown in jail. So, and now he's out, but no, people never change. You know, the way he presented it to it, I could definitely put myself in the guy in RJ's father's shoes. And hey, now that I'm out, now I'm trying to reconnect with my son. Do you know how freaking hard that is
Yeah.
to try and reconnect with a child once they're past that age? You know, at that hey, I'm the hot shit, nobody can't tell me nothing stage.
Yeah, for
Dude, that
sure.
is absolutely freaking difficult. So I'm absolutely loving that they Marvel give Kyle Higgins the rest. Split the books between Kyle Higgins right now and Donny Cates, and you'll be all right, right now. Absolutely. Like and you mentioned the art. The art was absolutely amazing, great. Um, am I surprised like you that they killed him off in that first? And I mean, in this issue, yes. But you know what? It's fitting in.
It
Let's let
was it was, because you got to see this guy's whole arc, right? And this so now there's no room there's no going back, And I mean it is Marvel, so I don't know, maybe there is, but for this story, it was a powerful ending to the story that you read, right? And it builds up for the next issue. And I would challenge anybody that reads this issue to not go out and pick up issue 5.
I'm going to pick up the whole series right now. I've already got Winter Soldier number 4. Excuse me, Winter Soldier number 1, which is the first appearance of RJ. Which if you're a first appearance hunter and value hunter, you got to have that in your collection right now because the way the story is going right now, I mean there are big things going to happen with this RJ character. Just keep Kyle Higgins on it and freaking let him get a great run with it, and this is going to be a great freaking series for years to come. So I don't know. This is obviously for me. This is Flame On, obviously, and I wouldn't mind seeing this in a TV series.
I would, seeing Winter Soldier in this book. This book really kind of could have been any superhero, right? I mean, any of these heroes. He was very much in the background, kind of playing like this enigmatic Overwatch in this
Yeah.
issue. Like he was RG's guardian angel in this book, and it could have been Captain America. It could have been anybody else. It kind of
Right. Well,
means a little
see,
bit more for that it's Winter Soldier.
right. Well, I mean, and so for instance, when I look at Hawkeye and Kate Bishop's relationship, right? It makes me look at how closely, because Hawkeye, he's kind of, yeah, you kind of go over there, you go to the cabinet, you do kind of, he's more kind of hands off. He just kind of pops in whenever help is needed. He's a laissez-faire type of guy. So it shows me how hard it really is because everybody's got their little their luggage in their life, and yeah, you kind of want to help them out, but sometimes you got to pull back, man, or else you're gonna kind of jack up their life for real. So it makes me this book made me appreciate more those other superheroes and their relationship with their sidekicks. Now that I've read this book, so
Yeah, I mean it's a powerful, powerful emotional issue. So, and you don't get that much anymore.
right.
So, let's go on to our final book, Shuri number 6.
Oh my
Uh,
God, you wanted to do this book. So I don't have the specs on this book, but what I will tell you is that what I did find interesting about this book was is that they're kind of because we're coming off this whole storyline where with the freaking grasshopper and the weird black hole in the middle of the African desert, and then all of a sudden she's still trying to track down this grasshopper, or is it a praying mantis? I forget what the freaking was. Um,
it was an alien.
It
Yeah.
was an yes. Oh yeah, yeah. It was an alien from another world that came through a black hole or whatever, and she's still trying to find it by using the chemical signature or the radiation signature, and that somehow takes her to New York, where she meets up with Miles Morales. And it's an okay book. No, I do find it interesting. Like, are they trying to hook up Miles Morales with Shuri? Um, because this isn't going to be the only issue there. I mean, issue where she's there because apparently Shuri's mother told her to stay there for a while, so she's going to be there for at least another couple of issues. So are they going to try and build a relationship with Miles Morales? And you know what? If they do it right, I could definitely see me being into it. I just don't know if the writer, what's her name, Vita Ayala, if she can do it. I don't. I'm not familiar with all the rest of her work. But if she wants to go for it, hey, fuck it, why not go for it? The art, Paul Davidson, I didn't find it absolutely amazing, but no, but he took what he was given, and he did okay with it. No, so
Yeah.
what did you think?
Um, I it didn't really do a lot for me. It just kind of seemed like this was almost like a paint by numbers kind of issue. Um, I know that Shuri's got this book for. I know that because in this book, Black Panther is off in space, right? So that's
Yep.
so
Yeah.
T'Challa went missing on a mission in deep space, right?
Yeah.
However, he's leading the Avengers
Yeah.
over in the Avengers. So
Yeah. Yeah.
this is another
Jesus
one of
Christ.
those things. So with Shuri, I mean I like the character, but it seems like it's really kind of
They've run
what
out of
can.
they've run out of storylines as far as I'm concerned. And
Hey,
we're only on issue number
yeah,
6. We're only on
yeah.
ese number 6, and
We
they've run
thought
out
we
of
thought
storylines.
we thought this was going to get canceled with 5, so we have to come up with another storyline for her. Having her meet Miles, and then of course at the end where Ms. Marvel comes up, Kamala, and say, hey, what's like I'm a big fan or something like that.
Uh-huh.
So to me it means that this is like next issue they'll throw in the rest of the champions, and she'll have who knows, maybe she'll join the champions at the end of the next issue.
Jesus Christ. So here's what pisses me off, right? She is an African princess, right?
Yes.
And in fact, in one of the last issues, they actually talk about how Africa, specifically West Africa, has got its own problems between Boko Haram and kidnappings and corruption, and the fact that if you're not an aborigine, what's those people with weird melanin skin where they're black but their skin is actually white? I forget what it's freaking called.
Albino.
Yeah, albinos. Albinos can't just walk out in normal public because they might get kidnapped for their eyeballs and skins. And shit. They actually addressed that. They addressed that in one cool panel. I was like, okay, well maybe in the next issue they're gonna go ahead and go and bring some of those storylines in because Africa has its own freaking problems, right?
Right.
And that's what the Black Panther should be going after and helping out with. Nope, going to take Shuri, an African princess, the Black Panther, and we're going to send her off to New York. What the heck? Really? That's what you guys have? I don't understand that. And so if it was any other character, right, this would be an okay book. But we're talking about this is Shuri, the Black Panther, an African princess, right? And you're taking her to New York. So for me, this is a clobber because right now, if you think about it, in between all the three books, right, where we have Black Panthers running around, Shuri's in New York right now. Black Panther in the Avengers book, he's in the where's he at? Is he in New York, I believe?
Well, they're fighting vampires wherever, so
Right.
yeah.
So yeah, but he's not in Africa. I can tell you that much.
Yeah, well, he's not in
Then,
space either. Well, he's in space in his own book. But.
yeah, exactly. So you've got 3 or 4 Black Panthers running around, and none of them are taken care of. They're supposed to be African freaking heroes, and none of them are actually in Africa right now, or even trying to address African or trying to address any, not even trying to address African American issues. You're just running around doing whatever. So I don't get it. Like and why can't there be somebody out there write an African a Black Panther issue that has to do with African issues? I don't freaking get it. Why do you need it? Why do you need to take them out of Africa? Why in the last Shuri one, instead of taking care of African issues, did you have her fighting a praying mantis from outer space? I don't freaking get it, man.
So well, maybe that might bring up like I know that with the whole Black Panther universe, with Ta-Nehisi Coates writing, kind of guiding this whole Black Panther corner of the universe, that they were kind of writing towards the strengths of having Black Panther in Africa doing things to help the people in Africa, but and I don't know who Vita Ayala is, but maybe it's coming to the point where it's kind of like writing what you know. And if you know New York, you're going to put her in New York, right? Maybe you
Right.
don't know, Africa or what's going on over there. But so instead of trying
Then
to fake it,
then they cancel the doggone issue.
yeah.
Cancel it.
Well,
I would rather them
this is
cancel it than open up these crazy ass storylines that aren't interesting at all to me.
this is a 2-issue filler. We should say so. This issue and the next issue are the kind of the fill-in story before the regular writer in Nettie Okorafor. I feel like Johnny right now. Comes
Yeah.
back in issue 8 with artist Rachel Stott, and that seems to me like
I don't want Okoye to come back. She's terrible. She is a Nigerian / African American who doesn't know anything about Africa. It's ridiculous.
Oh.
Absolutely ridiculous. She don't know how do you call yourself a Nigerian African American and you don't know shit about Africa? I don't get it.
I'm going to defer to you on this issue.
I'm calling her out. Okafor, you're terrible. Amini Okafor, you're terrible. Okay, look, you can write a comic. You can write any other comic. You are. So here's what my frustration comes from. She is a talented writer, and I see what Marvel was thinking in putting her on the title. She's great in every other title, but when she got her shining chance to write a Black Panther or Shuri comic, she fumbled. She went in a totally different direction. She fumbled her chance to do it, and so I'm going to say she's a talented writer overall, but as a talented African writer that can write about African things, she's terrible. She should Marvel should just maybe close shop on these titles for right now, and then just wait till another writer comes up. You know. By the way, I'm free for writing if they want to call me up. I've never written anything in my life, but I can tell them.
maybe you could just be a consultant.
Yeah.
Just be like, no, this is not actually accurate.
Yeah. Well, see, another thing that got me interested in the whole thing was because the praying mantis is is an African god, right? And they do use the praying mantis and other animals as a way to tell a story, but that's not what she did there. She just had the praying mantis as this weird freaking entity that she had to fight, and then next thing you know, the praying mantis is gone, and then you had the weird dude that was trying to get control of the black hole. I feel stupid just trying to explain it. It's like what? I don't know. I don't
Move
know.
on. Move on to the
Oh,
next issue. Yeah.
yeah.
All
Uh,
right.
yeah.
So so this one was really kind of a bit of a stretch for me, but I know you. It sounds to me like you're clobbering the hell out of this book.
I'm clobbering the hell out of the whole title.
Oh,
The
you're
whole
gonna
title.
punt. You're gonna clobber this book so hard, issue one feels it.
I don't know. I just don't get it. Why can't why people can't write African comics that are in Africa? I don't get it. I don't get it.
Huh.
But I digress.
Is there a specific maybe like African character that you'd like to see get some time from Marvel other than Black Panther?
Yes. So, uh, what was the name of the guy that's writing the Black Panther comic?
Coates?
No, the one that's writing Black Panther comic right now. Well, that's in space. You mentioned him earlier.
Oh, Ta-Nehisi Coates.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Okay, okay. Right. So there was one issue that was really great, right? So Killmonger um goes through this portal, whatever, and he goes to talk to the African gods. It's
Mm.
like, wow. So there was actually a reason for Killmonger and Black Panther to go out in space because that's where the African gods are at. That's where they're hanging out. Got it. And then we never hear about that part of the story again. They never talk to the African gods again. And that was so frustrating because there was like four or five of them hanging out. He goes to. In fact, Killmonger ate, or yeah, he ate and integrated one of the gods into himself. So he's supposed to be running around with the power of the gods right now. And then I haven't heard about it since. That's it. That was a wrap.
So
It's like,
they need to go back and revisit that before the next story arc.
yes, they should make the whole story arc about that. I don't want to hear any of this other stuff about space and space royalty. I could care less. Give me more about this whole Killmonger as a space god thing, and I'll be straight because that's actually makes sense of why they put him out in space. I can understand it.
Yeah. Well, maybe that's the end game there. You
Hopefully,
know, I mean that storyline right now has been going on a little too long.
yeah. Because the rest of the rest of the Black Panther stuff has been putting me to sleep. Um, Tanisha Coates, he's doing Captain America too right now, right?
Yeah, and Captain America's not bad. So
Yeah, right.
yeah,
Yeah. I mean, I'm a little worried about the whole, Captain America and jail thing, but you know what? I'm not hating it. I'm not hating it right now.
yeah.
I'm just a little disappointed in his Black Panther stuff. I'm like, I think maybe like I said before, shut down Black Panther, let Tanisha Coates go ahead, concentrate on Captain America, and then wait for some other writer to do the Black Panther stuff. Well, I'm trying to remember who does Killmonger though. Because
Who wrote Killmonger?
yeah, who's writing Killmonger right now? Because I actually like Killmonger.
Uh,
I'm trying to remember.
yeah. Hold on a second. I'm gonna
Let's see.
let me see if I can Google him real quick, and then.
Uh, Killmonger number one. Brian Edward Hill.
Oh, really?
Yeah, Brian Edward Hill is writing Killmonger right now.
And that was not a bad limited series. That was just had the last issue was last week or 2 weeks ago.
Okay.
So,
Yeah.
because it said find out more about Killmonger and like Black Panther. So they're moving him back over that book. So
So no, I won't be doing that. Sorry, no, I'm good. I'll save my I'll save my 549 for some other book.
So, so to recap, we had a couple of Flame On books this week that we both agreed on, which hasn't happened in a while. So,
Yep.
you should go out there and pick up a couple of those books. We want to pick up Avengers: No Road Home, and we want to pick up Winter Soldier. So,
Yep.
um, those are books that you should definitely be on your pull list if they're not already.
Yep.
And I think that this is probably going to bring us to the end of another episode of No Prize Podcast. And
We got one. We do have one more thing to discuss.
oh,
The
oh,
biggest news of the week: Guardians of the Galaxy #3.
oh, yeah, that's right. That was some late breaking news yesterday that came out that Sean Gunn back in the driver's seat for Guardians of the Galaxy 3.
Yeah, man, freaking pretty interesting because what I wonder is, did Marvel get jealous because Suicide Squad 2 has been getting all this news. Look, hey, James Gunn is going to do this. He's going to put this.
Oh,
So did they get jealous? Like, you know what?
it is
Maybe.
James Gunn. I said Sean Gunn. It's
Yeah,
James.
yeah,
My bad. Sean's his brother.
yeah. Yeah. Did Marvel get jealous because James Gunn? I mean, if DC can go ahead and hire James Gunn, and nobody mentioned the whole thing about the Twitter stuff, because I didn't care. Like, okay, he did it 10 years ago, and he was making fun of the Catholic Church. I didn't really care, just as long as he wasn't doing anything illegal. I didn't care. So the only thing is, Marvel has agreed to let James Gunn go ahead and finish out Suicide Squad, and then they're going to hire him back on, which I think is kind of messed up. I hate it because I was hoping James Gunn could go ahead, show what he can do with Suicide Squad, and then go ahead and fix the rest of the DC universe. But
I'm glad that they're going to let him finish out his trilogy. I mean, that I was not really looking forward to someone else coming in to helm the final Guardians movie. But they were going to keep his script too. So that's the thing. But I'm wondering if Disney kind of thought they might fly under the radar with kind of stealth rehiring him.
yeah,
But it turned out to be big news.
it's huge,
Yeah.
huge news.
Yeah.
I mean, how he's going to work on two movies at the same time? Because he's while he's finishing up Suicide Squad, he's definitely going to be working on Guardians of the Galaxy 3 at the same
Yeah,
time. And that's
for
just
sure.
how he. Yeah. So interesting stuff, man. Freaking.
Well, I am excited about it because they did kind of cause a little tumult with like Batista saying that he wasn't going to come back and do it, or he didn't want to, and then just to have just the whole really kind of shitstorm of people either sticking up for him or really kind of acting butthurt about the whole thing from something that he said like 10 years ago that
Right. Yeah.
I don't know. That's I'm so glad that I'm not like on as much social media because can you imagine if something that's you said in passing 10 years ago came back to bite you in the ass 10 years
Yep.
later?
hmm
Oh my God. I'd be
Well,
like,
it was like Kevin Hart, man. Freaking, he tweeted
yeah,
out something 6 years ago, and let's not pretend that homosexuality was as out in the open and agreed upon like it is now. Let's not play that game. All right. So he said what he said, and he made fun of the homosexuality community, which is wrong.
right.
But let's not pretend like when he put out that tweet, like everything was copacetic like it is now. And then, so that's it is what it is, man. So
We could talk about people being oversensitive all day long about stuff, especially when it comes to stand-up comedy, because I think stand-up comedy people should just have a free pass on that.
yeah, exactly.
That's what they do. They're supposed to point the finger at society and make us laugh at ourselves, and then if we can't do that anymore, then what are we all here for? So,
exactly. What's the point of living?
exactly. If you can't laugh at yourself, who can you laugh at? But anyway, yeah, that's great news about Gunn being back on Guardians. So that's That's something I'm looking forward to. And who knows, just because he's on Suicide Squad 2 makes me want to see that movie. And I hated the first one. So,
Yeah, yeah. I didn't hate it. I thought it was. See, I think the reason why I liked it is because I was really nervous that they were going to jack it up.
yeah.
But instead, they actually did pretty good. They raised Harley Quinn to a level character right now. I don't want to say superhero, but she is an A level character right now. The rest of the characters, leave them or take them. I think in fact they are going to leave them.
Well,
Um,
they're recasting Will Smith. They're
right,
recasting Deadshot. So,
as Idris Elba. I don't know if that's actually been confirmed or not. And then King Shark is supposed to be in there. Ratcatcher and Polka Dot Man. Uh,
what?
yeah.
Okay, so they're going to be killing off some people.
Most likely. Well, what was it? It was a Boomerang guy that they killed in the last one. What was the name of the other guy?
Slipknot. They
Yeah,
killed off Slipknot like in the first 5 minutes, and then they
yeah.
they didn't really kill off anybody else. Oh, they killed off. Didn't they kill off Enchantress?
Did they?
I think so.
Or did they put her back in her little? Oh no, they also killed El Diablo.
Oh, right.
Yeah, which
Oh,
which which is so stupid because that was probably the most interesting guy. Like
yeah,
a
it's true.
cholo that turns into a fire god. Come on, you killed him. You killed him off.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ. But
All
it's
right,
like,
so
all
we're
right.
off the beaten path here. We're done. We're done talking comics this week. Uh, Come back in a couple of weeks. We'll be back with Johnny the Machine Hughes, but we'll be back with a lot more comics and a lot more Conan and a lot more Avengers and X-Men, and hopefully maybe we don't review another issue of Shuri.
All right, guys. Drink responsibly.
Happy St. Patrick's Day, everybody.
All right.